Thunder cracks like bones splitting in the sky. The garage sits at the edge of a forgotten road, half lit by a flickering bulb swinging in the storm. Old signage reads, "McKinley Auto Repairs, since 1981. Rust bleeds from every corner. The rain slams down, unapologetic, a bride, maybe late 20s, drenched in ivory silk and soaked mascara, staggers into frame. Her white dress trails behind her like a ghost's tail. Hair clings to her face, mud bites at her heels. She stands in front of the closed garage door, blinking against the light. She raises a shaky fist, hesitates, then knocks. Inside, Jack, mid-50s, worn denim and calloused hands, welds a muffler. Sparks flash across his face like war memories. A small radio hums old blues in the background. He doesn't hear the knock. Another knock, this time harder. Jack looks up, squints toward the door. Cautious. Jack, under breath. What now? He grabs a rag, wipes his hands, limps slightly as he moves toward the door. Old injury. Or maybe just old life. The door creaks open. They lock eyes. Her lips are blue from cold. Eyes wide. Panic and defiance live there side by side. One hand clutches her bouquet. Wilted now, petals hanging on like secrets. Jack, you lost? She opens her mouth, but no sound comes. Just breath, rain pelts them both. Jack stands under the eave. She does not move forward. Jack, can't. This ain't a shelter. You got someone I can call? She glances behind her, just blackness and wet roads. Bride, small voice. Please. Just 5 minutes. I'll go after that. Jack doesn't nod. Doesn't answer. Just opens the door a little wider. She steps inside, dragging her soaked gown behind her. He closes the door slowly, watching her like she might vanish. She stands in the middle of the room like she's in a chapel. Jack doesn't speak. He grabs a threadbare towel and tosses it toward her. She catches it, barely. Silence stretches. Water drips from her dress, pooling at her feet. He doesn't ask why she's dressed like that. She doesn't explain. But then, softly, she whispers through chattering teeth, "Bride, I have nowhere else to go." The storm howls outside like a wounded animal. Inside, the garage is still, lit by a single hanging bulb above the workbench. The bride sits on an overturned milk crate, towel around her shoulders, staring blankly at the wall. Her dress is draped nearby, dripping quietly into an old oil pan. Jack moves in silence, like a man used to not being watched. He pours 2 mugs of instant coffee from a rusted kettle. No sugar, no milk, no ceremony. He places one on the bench near her, never making eye contact, then returns to his work table. Begins wiping down a wrench that's already clean. The radio buzzes low in the background. Otis Redding. Soft static. She doesn't sip the coffee, just warms her hands on it. Jack doesn't ask her name. She doesn't offer it. His movements are slow, habitual, the kind that come from years of fixing what breaks. He reaches under the bench and pulls out a folded blanket, places it beside her, still not looking directly at her. Jack, you can take the cot in the back. Old but dry. She finally looks up. There's disbelief in her eyes, like kindness has become a foreign language. Bride. You don't even know me, Jack. Don't need to. Beat. Just don't steal my tools. She almost smiles. Almost. He gestures toward the back of the garage, where a curtain hangs beside a small room with a cot, a tiny lamp, and a cracked mirror. She stands slowly, bridal shoes in hand. Bride. Just for the night. Jack nods once. Jack, just for the night. She disappears behind the curtain. Jack sits back on his stool, sips his coffee. He stares at the closed curtain for a long moment, then quietly turns off the radio. The rain keeps falling. The storm is gone. In its place, a soft, pale blue light peeking through the grimy windows. The garage is still. The scent of oil and old rain hangs in the air. Tools sleep on their hooks like old soldiers. Jack stands at the counter again. 2 mugs. Same rusted kettle. The radio is off. He pours the coffee. Behind him, the curtain rustles. She steps out slowly, wearing an oversized flannel shirt that must have been his once, swimming on her. Her hair is damp but brushed. The towel hangs across her shoulder now like armor. She doesn't speak. Neither does he. She walks barefoot to the same crate from the night before and sits. He places a cup near her, the same way as last time. No questions. She looks at the cup, then at him. "Bride, do you always do this?" "Jack, do what?" "Bride rescue runaway brides with no questions and bad coffee." Jack doesn't look up, just shrugs. Jack didn't rescue. Just didn't lock the door. A pause. The air between them thickens. There's something tentative about her presence, like she's still not sure she deserves to be here. "Bride. I slept better than I have in weeks." Beat, weird, right? With engines and grease and strangers. He finally looks at her. Just for a second. His eyes are worn, but kind. "Jack, some noise is quieter than silence." That line makes her pause. Then she sips the coffee. Grimaces. Bride still awful. A long moment. Her gaze drifts to the tools, the rust, the wall of faded photos and forgotten calendars. "Bride, quantity. You don't have to pretend I matter. You know?" Jack looks at her again but says nothing. Sunlight creeps through the half-open door, cutting through the dust in golden streaks. The rain's gone, but the air still smells of rust and wet pavement. Jack works quietly at the bench, tightening bolts, sorting sockets, letting silence do the talking. Across from him, the bride, still unnamed, hums faintly under her breath, tracing her finger through a puddle on the concrete floor. Her wedding dress hangs from a nail nearby, a pale ghost swaying in the draft. Jack glances at it now and then, as if the sight of it stings. He wipes his hands on a rag and notices something small, gleaming on the bench beside his wrench tray. A gold wedding ring. He freezes. Not his. He looks toward her. She's staring out the cracked window, lost in thought. "Jack, you left this here last night." She turns, sees the ring. Her face drains of color. "Bride, I didn't forget it." Jack studies her quietly, the way her jaw tightens, the small tremor in her hand. "Jack, then why leave it?" A long silence. The clock ticks. The radio hums a single low note before cutting to static. "Bride, because it means something I don't believe in anymore." Jack nods slightly, like he understands more than he says. He places the ring back on the bench carefully, like setting down a story that's not his to finish. She exhales shakily, watching the light glint off it. "Bride, softly. Do you ever look at something and see the promise instead of the truth?" Jack doesn't answer. He just keeps working. The sound of the wrench tightening echoes like punctuation in the stillness. Her eyes glass over. Suddenly, flash cut. She's in front of a mirror, still in her gown, mascara bleeding down her cheeks. A man's voice shouts from behind the door. She slides the ring off, drops it on the floor, covers her mouth to muffle a sob. Back to present. The hum of the garage returns. Jack looks up. The bride staring blankly at the wall again, as if caught between worlds. The bride sleeps on the cot now, curled beneath the flannel shirt, her hand gently resting near the mug of cold coffee on the nightstand. Her breathing is soft, almost childlike. Jack watches from a distance. He doesn't step closer, just observes from the edge of the garage light's reach, like a man afraid to wake something he lost. He turns away quietly. He walks down a narrow hall, walls lined with faded photographs and curling-edge calendars from years long gone. Each step echoes a little louder than it should. At the end of the hallway is a white-painted wooden door. A little girl's name, Lucy, is stenciled above it in chipped pink letters. Jack hesitates. He pulls a key from a nail on the wall. It's the only one with a yellow string tied to it. He unlocks the door. Dust floats in the still air like time frozen mid-breath. The room is untouched. A stuffed elephant sits on a small twin bed, beside a storybook left halfway open. The lamp on the nightstand still has a Dora sticker on it. A music box rests near the window, cracked but not broken. Jack steps in slowly. His eyes land on a framed drawing above the bed, a crayon sketch of a car, a smiling girl, and a man with messy hair. Above it, "Me and Daddy at the shop." Jack sits on the edge of the bed. He doesn't cry, he just stares. The kind of stare that carries years. He reaches out and gently straightens the drawing, then stands. Exits the room without touching anything. Else, back hallway. Continuous. He pulls the door closed again, turns the key. Click, hangs the yellow-tagged key back on its nail. He stares at it for a moment too long, then walks back toward the garage, toward the girl sleeping in the quiet, but the silence behind that door follows him. The rain has washed the world clean. A soft breeze moves through the cracked garage window. Light spills across the concrete floor, dust dancing in its path. Jack works beneath the hood of a battered '89 Chevy truck, sleeves rolled, brow furrowed, hands moving with the kind of ease that only comes from repetition. Tools clink and clatter in rhythm, like a mechanic's heartbeat. From behind him, a hum. At first, faint, then a little fuller. A woman's voice, fragile but deliberate. The melody is old, something country blues with a waltz tempo. He pauses, doesn't turn, just listens. The bride, now wearing jeans and a faded garage tee, has her hair twisted into a loose bun. She's standing near the tool wall, brushing it clean with a rag, humming as if the notes are carrying her somewhere far from here. Jack sets his wrench down slowly, wipes his hands. "Jack, that song, you know what that is?" She looks over her shoulder, surprised he spoke. "Bride, it's old. I think it's called Dust and Honey. My dad used to blast it from a cassette player while he fixed our old tractor." She chuckles softly. Not out of humor, but memory. Bride, Conti D. Every Saturday morning, that smell of grease and burnt toast. Him yelling at the carburetor like it insulted his mother. Jack allows a rare grin. Brief but real. "Jack, I played it on vinyl. Still got the record somewhere." She moves toward him slowly, drawn by the bridge between their pasts. Bride. "Funny how a song can outlive the person." Jack nods. The hum of the melody floats between them again. Jack. "Some things refuse to leave, even when everything else does." They stand in silence, the song filling the empty space between grief and comfort. She hums again, this time with her eyes closed. Bride. "My dad used to fix engines to this song." Jack doesn't say anything, but this time, he lets it play. The sun sinks behind the hills. Golden light pours through the open garage bay, coating everything in amber. The tools, the dust, the memories that won't die. Jack leans under the hood of a car, brow furrowed, focused. Grease paints his forearms. He doesn't speak, hasn't for nearly an hour. Behind him she scrubs an old oil pan, sleeves rolled, arms soaked to the elbow. Her wedding dress now folded, neatly on a shelf like a story retired early. She doesn't hum today, just scrubs, harder than necessary. The silence between them stretches thin, like a string one note from snapping. Jack glances over once, watches her hands tremble as she wipes. He opens his mouth, then closes it. She notices. Bride. "You're not gonna ask, are you?" Jack doesn't look up. Jack. "Ask what?" "Bride, why I ran." Jack. "No, bride, why?" Jack. "Not my business unless you hand it to me." A beat. Her jaw clenches. Bride. "You think I'm weak?" Jack wipes grease off his hands, slow and methodical. Jack. "I think you're trying to clean something that won't come off." She stares at him, long and sharp. Bride. "There was a church, a white aisle, 100 people, and a man who never looked me in the eye unless it was to win." She throws the rag down, breathing hard. The oil pan spins and clatters across the floor. Jack walks over, picks it up, places it gently on the bench. Doesn't meet her eyes. "Jack, do you want help? Or just silence?" She doesn't answer, but she sits back down, nearer to him than before. A single hanging bulb flickers. Outside, cicadas sing like broken violins. Inside, the air is still, heavy with unsaid things. Jack works with deliberate quiet at the far end of the garage, organizing sockets into trays. Each one clicks into place with mechanical precision, as if restoring order keeps the chaos out. She, the bride, wanders slowly, bare feet padding across the cool concrete. Her fingers trail along dusty shelves, battered toolboxes, a rusted stool. Then she pauses. On the wall above the desk, a crooked photo frame, edges curled from age. She leans in, a black and white photo. A man with dark, messy hair, younger but unmistakably Jack, smiling wide and proud. Beside him, a little girl in overalls and grease-streaked cheeks, holding up a spark plug like a trophy, maybe 8 years old. The girl's eyes are mirrors, wide, bright, trusting. The bride stares at it longer than she means to. Bride. She's beautiful. Jack doesn't respond. She turns. Bride. Gentler. "Your daughter?" Still no reply. Bride. Conti D. "You two looked happy." Jack keeps his head down, keeps organizing bolts that don't need organizing. She waits, but the silence doesn't bend. It hardens. She walks closer, gaze still fixed on the photo. Bride. Softly. "Where is she now?" Jack stops. His hand hovers over the wrench drawer, but he doesn't turn. Doesn't speak, just breathes. One heavy breath that says more than 1,000 words could. The hum of the bulb buzzes louder in the quiet. The bride doesn't push. She just watches him, unsure if she crossed something sacred. Jack closes the drawer, clicks it shut. The photo sways slightly on its nail, like it's caught its own breath. Light spills through the half-open garage door, golden and soft. The kind that pretends the world isn't broken. The bride sits on a bench near the open bay, hair damp, eyes distant. She holds her phone in both hands. The screen is black. She presses the power button again. Nothing. She plugs it into the wall using an old frayed charger Jack found in a drawer. Still nothing. She sighs, shakes it gently like that might wake it up. No vibration, no sign of life. She sets it beside her and just stares. At the road. At the empty space where a car should pull in. Where someone should come. Wind whistles through the crack in the window, brushing her hair gently across her face. She doesn't move it. Her hands curl tightly into her lap. Internal monologue. VO. There should have been a text by now. A call. A voice. Anything. Her eyes flick to the horizon, flat and endless. She stands, walks to the door, and peers out. A stray dog crosses the road. A pickup drives by without slowing down. She walks back inside, sits again. The phone, still dead, reflects a distorted version of her face in the blank screen. She flips it over, covers it with a rag. Jack, OS. "You waiting on someone?" She blinks. Didn't hear him come in. Jack stands behind her holding 2 steaming mugs. She takes one, cradles it. Then, with the faintest shake of her head, bride. No, a pause. The silence between them deeper than usual. Bride, Conti D. "No one's looking for me." Jack doesn't reply, but he doesn't walk away either. The air smells like motor oil and possibility. Jack is under the hood of a beat-up Honda grumbling to himself. Sweat dots his temple. A socket wrench clinks against the engine as he mutters something about spark plugs designed by lunatics. Across the garage, the bride is reorganizing a shelf. She's lined up the spray cans in color order. UD40, brake cleaner, degreaser. Then a random can of whipped cream. She holds it up, squints at the label. Bride. Either someone fixed a carburetor with whipped cream, or you need to check your grocery drawer. Jack grunts. Doesn't look up. Jack. Leave that. Been meaning to throw it out for 6 years. She walks over, sets it on the bench beside him with a smirk. Bride, 6 years. You think it's aged like wine? Still nothing from Jack, until he glances at her sideways. Jack might be the best thing I've never used. Bride. That's what my ex used to say about marriage. She freezes the moment she says it. The smile fades. Regret creeps in. Jack pauses, wipes his hands. Then, a low sound. He chuckles. Not a scoff. Not forced. A real rough-edged laugh. It catches both of them off guard. He quickly looks down, like the sound embarrassed him. Bride. Did you just laugh? Jack, nah. Choked on air. Bride. You should choke more often. It looks good on you. Jack shakes his head, but the smile stays at the corner of his mouth. She leans back on the bench, arms folded, proud of herself. He looks at her again, and this time really sees her. For a split second, the garage doesn't feel so heavy. He looks startled by his own laugh. A breeze drifts in through the side door, carrying warmth and dust. It makes the edge of her wedding dress flutter where it still hangs, soft, like a sigh. Jack rummages through a cardboard box marked old wires, junk, maybe useful. At the bottom, wrapped in an oily rag, he finds it. A scratched-up vinyl record and a small battery-powered turntable with tape holding its corner together. He hesitates, brushes his fingers over the label. Then, without a word, he plugs it in and sets the record on. The needle drops with a small crackle. Music begins, soft guitar strums, a voice thick with gravel and honey. Dust and honey. The same song she hummed the other day. The bride, across the room, freezes mid-step. She turns, eyes wide. Bride. That's it. Jack doesn't look up from adjusting the pitch. Jack told you I had it. She walks slowly toward the sound as if afraid it'll vanish. She sits beside the turntable cross-legged, hands folded like a child in church. Bride, quietly. I haven't heard this in 10 years. The chorus begins, a voice singing about broken hands, Sunday rain, and the ache of staying when you want to run. She closes her eyes, and somewhere between the second verse and the soft guitar bridge, a tear slips down her cheek. Jack notices. He doesn't comment, just turns away and picks up a wrench that doesn't need picking up. But his shoulders sag. His eyes blink longer than they should. She wipes her face. Bride. He used to hum this when he didn't know I was listening. Jack doesn't answer. He just nods, then walks to the window and lets the song finish. As it ends, silence. Except, for one quiet breath they both seem to take at the same time. She tears up. So does he, quietly. The sun has long since set. The overhead bulb casts a yellow glow that makes the tools on the wall look like they're sleeping. Outside, crickets sing their nightly hymn. Inside, something unfamiliar lingers in the air, warmth. The bride stands barefoot near a dusty hot plate plugged in beside Jack's workbench. She hums softly as she stirs a small pan of eggs and canned beans, using a flathead screwdriver as a makeshift spoon. Jack watches from a few feet away, wiping his hands with a clean rag. His eyes narrow on the screwdriver, but he says nothing. She catches the look. Bride. Relax. I disinfected it with brake cleaner. Jack might actually be the cleanest thing in here. She laughs. He smirks, but turns it away quickly. They sit on the bench together, eating off mismatched paper plates. No forks, just folded toast and fingers. Bride, chewing. You know, this beats most wedding food. Jack, low bar. Bride, true, but still. They eat in silence for a few beats. The clink of the hot plate cooling echoes faintly. She looks around the garage, at the walls, the shelves, the mess that's somehow not messy to Jack. Bride, gently. You live alone? Jack doesn't answer right away. Jack been that way a while. Bride. Ever get lonely? He shrugs. Jack doesn't feel like that when you stop needing company. She watches him closely now, his guarded way of answering, the way his hands twitch like they're holding tools even when they're not. She sets her plate down. Bride. You had someone once, though. He stiffens. Just a little. Bride, softly. Did you love her like this? Silence. The question hangs there, between cracked walls and two paper plates. Jack doesn't answer. But he doesn't walk away either. Pale light seeps in through the side windows. Dew drips from the corners of the roof, ticking gently onto the gravel below. Inside, everything is still, except for the wedding dress, which sways slightly in the breeze coming through the cracked door. It hangs from a nail near Jack's tool rack, silhouetted against a metal cabinet. It looks more like a ghost than a garment, a relic from a story that never finished. The bride stands a few feet away, arms crossed, hair messy, bare feet dusted in concrete. She stares at the dress like it betrayed her. Bride, quietly, I should throw it away. Jack, kneeling by the tire he's patching, doesn't look up. Jack. Then why haven't you? She doesn't answer. Steps closer, brushes the fabric with her fingertips. The silk is stiff now. The lace at the hem still holds the brown of dried mud. Bride. Everyone told me it was perfect, that I'd never feel more beautiful than in this dress. She runs her fingers down the front of it. Bride. Con to D. I remember putting it on and thinking, God, this feels like a costume, like I was pretending to be someone who belonged in that life. Jack sets down the wrench slowly. Watches her. Jack, you didn't? Bride, no. Pauses. I didn't belong to anyone, not even myself. She steps back, folds her arms. Bride, conteed. But this dress, it was the only thing people noticed. Not the shaking hands, not the way I flinched when he spoke, not the fear. Jack rises, walks to her side, but doesn't speak. She turns to him, eyes glassy, voice flat. Bride. It's the only thing that doesn't lie. A rusted bike sits upside down on a patch of dirt behind the garage. One tire flat, the chain slack, frame bent. The kind of junk Jack usually ignores. But she's crouched beside it now. Sleeves rolled up, grease on her hands, determination painted across her face like war paint. She twists the wrench too hard. It slips, scraping her knuckles. She winces. Keeps going. Jack watches from inside. He's cleaning spark plugs that don't need cleaning, watching her through the window like he's trying to make sense of a language he never learned. Her hands shake slightly. Then, she throws the wrench. It bounces against the dirt, clangs off the frame, lands in the gravel. She doesn't scream. She sobs, knees in the dirt, fists clenched in her lap. She tries to breathe, but her body betrays her. The sobs come sharp and sudden, like they've been hiding for too long. Jack steps outside. Quiet. She doesn't see him. Bride. Through tears. Why did I wait so long to run? Why did I stay? Why did I believe him? She buries her face in her hands. Bride. Contidi. I knew the way he talked to me wasn't love. I knew it the day I tried on the dress, and didn't feel anything. Jack approaches, then stops a few feet away. She looks up. Red eyes, raw cheeks, tears dripping onto her knees. They lock eyes. She's not hiding anymore, and he doesn't know what to do with that. She wipes her face with the back of her hand. Bride. I'm not crying because I lost him. I'm crying because I almost became someone I'd hate. Jack takes a slow breath, but doesn't move. He watches her, caught between instinct and history, unsure whether to comfort or run. The world outside is dark and quiet. No cars, no storms, just the soft buzz of insects and the occasional creak of settling wood. The bride is alone in the garage now, idly exploring, her grief from earlier still lingering in the curve of her shoulders, but steadier. She moves toward the tall metal cabinet Jack usually keeps locked. Tonight, it's open. half by accident, or half by trust. She peeks inside. Behind the layers of folded rags and oil-stained manuals sits something unexpected. Guitar case. Old, worn, covered in dust and paint flecks. She glances back to make sure Jack isn't around, then gently pulls it out and sets it on the workbench. The clasps click open like whispers. Inside, a dark walnut acoustic guitar with a cracked edge and one missing string. A small daisy sticker on the neck. The body is scratched, but not ruined. She runs her fingers across the strings. The dull hum echoes through the garage like a memory trying to breathe again. Behind her, Jack's voice. Jack, OS. Didn't think I'd see that thing again. She jumps, turns. He leans in the doorway, arms crossed, watching, not angry, just waiting. Bride, softly. It's beautiful, even with the cracks. He walks in slowly, nods. Jack used to play for my kid every night. She'd fall asleep before the second chorus. A pause. He stares at the guitar like it still holds her voice. Jack, Con TD. One day I stopped, never started again. She picks it up, rests it in her lap, strums gently, wrong notes, but with care. Bride I used to sing before I ran. Jack looks at her, then looks away. The silence that follows is not heavy. It's sacred. The light is warmer, softer, years younger. Jack, mid-40s, stands in the same garage, but it feels different, brighter, lived in. There's a child's drawing taped to the cabinet, a crayon version of him and a girl holding hands, surrounded by tools and stars. Lucy, age 8, sits cross-legged on a stool beside him, brushing grease off a stuffed elephant. Jack tunes his guitar gently, crouching beside her. Jack, want to hear the silly one again? Lucy, giggling. Only if you do the weird voice. He launches into a goofy, raspy version of a country tune about a grumpy old truck with a leaky tailpipe. She laughs so hard she nearly falls over. He catches her with one arm, eyes full of light. Jack, VO. She liked the ones where the truck talks. Didn't care much for real songs. He strums slower now. Her laughter fades. Her head leans against his shoulder. A perfect moment. Smash cut to rain. Headlights slicing through darkness. Jack's truck is parked off the shoulder, hazard lights flashing. In the distance, twisted metal, a crumpled bicycle, a sobbing woman on the phone. Jack, VO. I told her to wait for me. Said I'd pick her up after work. He runs. Hands bloody. Voice hoarse. Paramedic. We did everything we could. The sun is up, but Jack is still in the dark. He sits alone. The guitar lies beside him on the floor. He stares at it like it's cursed. Then, with a sudden roar of grief, he picks it up and smashes it against the concrete. Once, twice. Again. The neck splinters. Strings snap like veins. He collapses beside it, breathing hard. Jack, VO. The only thing louder than silence was breaking it. A soft rain returns, not the storm kind, but gentle, cleansing. The garage hums with a strange stillness. Jack is nowhere in sight. At the workbench, the bride sits with the broken guitar in front of her. The wood is still chipped, the neck scarred, but she handles it like a patient. Beside her, a small tin box filled with rusted tools, spare strings, and old picks, half buried under spark plugs and screws. She carefully lays out the guitar like she's dressing a wound. Bride, softly to herself. Okay, girl, let's see what's left of you. She threads the first string, fingers trembling but determined. Outside, thunder murmurs far away. She restrings slowly, one peg at a time, retightens, tunes by ear. Her brows furrow with focus, lips barely parting to hum the notes into tune. Unseen, Jack watches from the dark, back against the wall, arms crossed. He doesn't interrupt. His eyes flick to the guitar, then to her. His jaw tightens, but his fists don't. She finishes, strums once. It's imperfect. Buzzes slightly, but the sound is alive. She exhales. Part relief, part release. Jack steps forward now. She notices him. Holds up the guitar like a child showing off a glued-together bowl. Bride. Don't worry. I didn't change the soul. Just gave it a second chance. Jack stares at it. Long. Like it's someone he hasn't seen in years. Jack. Didn't think it could be fixed. Bride, gently. Maybe something broken can still sound beautiful. The rain keeps falling. Soft, steady, like applause from the sky. Sunshine filters through low-hanging clouds. The streets glisten from the night's rain. The town is awake now. Slow, but watching. Jack stands outside Murphy's diner, an oil-stained paper bag in one hand, a black coffee in the other. Across the street, a few locals lean on the tailgate of a pickup, whispering, not even trying to hide it. He glances at them. They glance back. He returns with the food, places the bag on the bench beside her. The bride sits on a stool, tuning the guitar again. She doesn't look up. Bride. They were staring, weren't they? Jack doesn't answer immediately. He unwraps a biscuit, sits across from her. Jack. They stare at anything that doesn't stay broken. She offers a small smile, but it fades fast. Bride. They think I'm just some scandal in a white dress, Jack. They don't know your story. Bride. They don't care. Jack doesn't argue. Because she's right. Jack works under a truck as a familiar voice approaches. Frank, late 50s, ball cap and worn boots, stops by with a grim look. Frank Jack. Jack slides out from under the truck. Jack Frank. Frank heard you got a visitor. Pretty girl. Wedding dress. No car. Jack wipes his hands. Doesn't answer. Frank, con TD. Word spreading. You know how this town is? Jack, it'll pass. Frank steps closer. Frank. No, it won't. You've kept quiet since Lucy. People respected that. But now, Jack meets his gaze. Unflinching. Jack. She's not hurting anyone. Frank lowers his voice. Frank. She's trouble. Jack. A long silence. Then Jack turns back to the truck, gets back to work. Frank, OS. Just don't forget what it cost last time you let someone in. Jack tightens a bolt, harder than necessary. The overhead bulb hums faintly. The garage is quiet. Too quiet. Jack walks in with 2 mugs of coffee. He pauses. The guitar is resting against the workbench, but she's gone. No humming. No half-finished joke. No sound. His eyes scan the space. The cot? Empty, her flannel folded. The chair where she tuned the strings? Bare. He steps outside. The moon is sharp, casting blue light over everything. Crickets chirp. He walks around the side of the garage. Calls out. Once, low. Jack, hey? No answer. He checks the road. No fresh tire tracks. No footprints in the gravel. Just the stillness of small-town midnight. He walks toward the trees, just in case. He stands alone at the edge of the woods, hears nothing but wind and distant dogs barking. His jaw tightens. Jack, V.O. Should have seen it coming. She never really unpacked, just rested. He exhales hard, rubs his hand over his face, turns back. Jack steps inside slowly, sets the untouched mugs down. His eyes fall to the far wall. There, still hanging where she left it. The wedding dress, perfectly folded over the same nail. A white flag, a goodbye. He walks to it, brushes the fabric gently with his fingers, still warm. On the bench beneath it, a sheet of guitar tabs, handwritten, smudged in the corners, but no note, no explanation, just silence. Jack looks toward the road again, then the dress. He doesn't move it. He doesn't touch the guitar. He just stands there. And for the first time in days, he's alone again. The old white chapel stands under a gray sky, its stained glass windows casting tired colors on the cracked steps. Birds flutter on the steeple, unsettled. Jack's truck screeches to a stop in front. He jumps out. No flannel, no hesitation. Just storm in his chest. Inside, the pews are empty, but candles burn. The scent of wax and dust clings to the air. At the altar stands Davin, late 30s, clean-shaven, expensive coat, holding a Bible like a prop. He turns, surprised. "Davin, you've got some nerve walking in here." "Jack, where is she?" Davin walks down the steps slowly, voice tight. "Davin, she ran from a wedding. From me. That should tell you all you need to know." "Jack, she ran from a cage." Davin smirks. "Davin, what is she now? Your little garage angel? You think picking up broken women makes you whole?" Jack steps forward, no fear in his eyes. "Jack, you don't know her." "Davin, I knew her first." "Jack, no, you owned her first." That lands like a slap. Davin straightens, jaw clenched. "Davin, she's unstable. Always has been. Would have made a fool out of me in front of the whole town." Jack breathes hard, fists trembling. Not with anger, but restraint. "Jack, you didn't love her. You loved the idea of her. Quiet, dressed up, compliant, Davin. She made vows. Jack, you made demands." Silence falls. Jack turns to leave. Stops at the doorway. "Jack," without turning. "If she was yours, she wouldn't have left barefoot." He walks out. Davin doesn't follow. He just stares at the altar. But somehow it looks emptier than before. The room is ornate. Ivory walls, gold trim, a full-length mirror in the corner reflecting layers of lace, and a face trying not to break. The bride, flawless on the outside, stands stiffly in her wedding dress. Makeup perfect. Hair sculpted. But her eyes, flat, glassy. Her hands tremble at her sides. Behind her, her father, tall, commanding, adjusts his cufflinks while staring at her reflection in the mirror. His voice is low, firm. "Father, smile wider. You're about to become someone important." She doesn't move. "Father," sharper. "You do realize how many people are here, right?" She looks at him in the mirror. "Bride. I don't want to marry him." The father exhales, like she's just said something childish. "Father, you're emotional. Brides get like this. It's nerves." She turns around fully now, voice cracking. "Bride, he doesn't see me. He doesn't hear me. Father, he has money, a future, respect. He comes from a name that matters." Bride, "I don't love him." He steps closer, cold eyes, controlled. "Father, this isn't about love. This is about legacy." She backs away slightly. "Bride, you're selling me. Father, I'm positioning you." She looks at herself in the mirror, at the stranger in a beautiful dress. Tears form. He watches her crumble and steps closer, voice suddenly venom behind a smile. "Father," quiet. "Say yes, or you'll ruin our name." A soft knock on the door. 5 minutes to walk. "Miss?" Her breath catches. She nods slowly, but the reflection in the mirror doesn't. A single flickering streetlight buzzes overhead, casting a sickly yellow pool of light over cracked pavement and boarded-up vending machines. Jack's truck slows, headlights sweeping across weeds growing through concrete. Then, he sees it. A silver sedan, parked awkwardly near a rusted dumpster. The back window is fogged. She's inside, curled in the back seat. Her wedding dress is folded like a pillow beneath her head, a jacket over her shoulders, knees pulled to her chest, eyes red, face pale. She's not crying anymore, just still. Knock, knock. The soft sound on the window startles her. She bolts upright. Jack stands outside, backlit by his headlights. Rain speckles his flannel, face unreadable. She stares at him like a ghost walked out of a dream. He opens the door, doesn't say a word, just stands back. She doesn't move right away. Shame coats her like a second skin. "Bride, how'd you find me?" Jack didn't have to look hard, just followed the quiet. A pause. Her lips tremble. Bride, small voice. I wasn't running this time, I just didn't know where to go. He nods slowly. Jack. Let's go home. She swallows hard, then gets out of the car. Jack opens the passenger door. She steps in. She sits silently, arms wrapped around herself. Jack doesn't play music, doesn't ask questions, just drives through the sleeping town. She looks over at him, eyes wet, voice barely above a breath. Bride. You came, when no one ever does. Jack doesn't respond, but for the first time since she left, he turns the truck heater on. The storm has passed. The air smells of damp pavement and fresh metal. A single lamp glows near the workbench. The rest of the garage is in shadow. Jack sits with the repaired guitar across his lap. He's adjusting the tuning pegs, brow furrowed in focus. Across from him, the bride wraps her hands around a chipped mug of tea. She's wearing clean jeans now, hair loosely tied. Her eyes are calmer, not weightless, but steadier. Jack, you never said what song you used to sing. She smiles faintly. Bride, mostly the sad ones, the ones people skip. He strums a chord. Off. Adjusts again. She hums a note, softly. It matches. He strums again. Better. She hums louder. Words start to form in the space between their breaths. Bride, singing quietly. If I go, don't follow fast. The road I take won't ever last. Jack stops, looks at her. Surprised. Jack. That's mine. Bride, softly. I know. You played it in the garage once, real late. Didn't think I heard. Jack adjusts the guitar, starts playing the melody. Slower now, more certain. She sings again. He joins. Two voices, weathered and unfamiliar, but rising, hesitant at first, then growing into something fuller. No harmonies, just truth. They finish the verse together. Silence after it isn't awkward. It's reverent. Jack sets the guitar down slowly. She's looking at him now, smiling. Really smiling. Bride. That's the first time I heard your voice. Jack nods, almost smiles back. Jack. First time I meant it, and they sit there. Not speaking, not filling the air, because some songs finish better in quiet. Sunlight spills through the bay door, warming the concrete floor. Jack wipes grease off his hands at the workbench, while the bride hums as she scribbles in a notepad. Chords, lyrics, half-thoughts in messy ink. She's wearing confidence now, like a cardigan she forgot she owned. The repaired guitar rests on a stool beside her, the same one they finished the song on. There's a knock. Jack walks over, opens the side door. Frank, the old friend from earlier, stands there holding an envelope. Frank didn't know where else to drop this. Figured she'd be here. Jack takes it, closes the door without a word. Bride. What's that? Jack hands her the envelope. Jack says your name on it. She opens it slowly. Reads, eyes widen. Bride, reading. Dear Ms. Carter, we were moved by your voice during last week's open mic at the diner. We'd love to invite you to perform at this year's town showcase. Beat. They're calling me a highlight. She looks up, stunned. Jack. You didn't sign up? Bride, I left a demo. On a whim. Didn't think anyone would. She stops. The weight of it settling in. A chance. An audience. A life beyond whispers and runaway dresses. Jack sets down the wrench. Watches her. Not the way you watch someone breaking, but the way you watch something healing. Jack. So what are you gonna do? She folds the letter slowly. Her voice is small. Honest. Bride. I want to say yes. Beat. But I'm not a performer. Jack leans back, arms crossed, eyes steady. Jack. Neither was I, until I played for someone who listened. She stares at the paper again, like maybe it's an invitation to something bigger than a stage. The sun sets slow and golden. Warm light filters through the open bay door, stretching across the walls like a blessing. The wedding dress still hangs from its old nail. Limp, quiet, heavy with memory. The bride stands beneath it, eyes tracing every wrinkle, every fray at the hem. She doesn't flinch this time. Jack watches her from a few steps back, a soft look on his face. Bride. I used to think it owned me, like if I threw it away, I could forget. She takes the dress down, folds it, pauses. Then, gently, almost ceremonially, she walks to the garage stage corner, where Jack once set up a few crates and an old mic stand. She drapes the dress over a beam behind the space. The lace and silk spill like light, catching the golden hour just right. It looks like a curtain now. Not a costume, not armor, just fabric, repurposed. Jack walks over, hands her a clamp. She secures the edge of the gown in place, smoothing it like it's part of something sacred. Bride. I never got to walk away from it on my terms. Jack, looks like you just did. She steps back. The garage stage isn't much, but with the dress glowing behind it, it feels real, hopeful. She turns to Jack, eyes clear, voice sure. Bride. Now it's not hiding me. Beat. It's holding me. Jack smiles, really smiles, and for the first time she does too. A modest stage, fold-out chairs, strings of lights hanging from exposed beams. The air smells like popcorn, perfume, and old wood. Locals fill the room, old couples, teenagers, familiar whispers. Curious eyes scan the program pamphlets, fingers pointing at the same name. Samantha Carter. Original song. Backstage, Samantha, the bride, paces slowly, guitar in hand. She's in denim, flannel, and bare feet. No makeup, no mask, just her. Jack sits in the shadows behind the curtain, hands in his lap, eyes calm but alert. Samantha, quietly. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Jack, if you do, aim for the third row. They look judgy. She chuckles, shakes her head, then exhales deeply. Announcer, OS. And next, please welcome a local voice with something truly her own. Applause ripples. Samantha steps into the light. She walks up alone, sits on the stool, adjusts the mic. Her hands shake, but her eyes find Jack through the crowd. He's in the back, leaning on the door frame. She nods once to him, then begins. The first few chords are quiet, breathless, but when she reaches the chorus, a second voice joins in. Jack, from the crowd, he sings the harmony. Not loudly, not perfectly, but with something more powerful than polish. Truth. Samantha smiles, almost forgets her place. The crowd turns, surprised. Then they keep singing. Together, their song, the one they finished in the garage. No theatrics, no lights, just two voices, weathered and raw, meeting in the middle of something they both ran from. As the last chord fades, silence. Then, a standing ovation, hands clapping, whistles, teary eyes. Jack lowers his head, not used to applause. Samantha looks at him through blurred vision, and in that moment, she knows she's no longer hiding. Dark wood panels, leather chairs, shelves lined with law books and family portraits that look more like trophies than memories. Her father, impeccably dressed in a three-piece suit, stands by the window with a newspaper in hand. On the front page, a photo from the town showcase. Samantha on stage, smiling mid-song, Jack in the background. The headline reads, Runaway Bride Finds Her Voice in Small Town Spotlight. His jaw clenches. Jack wipes his hands, eyes tired but at peace. The garage smells like oil and something baking. Samantha tried cookies again. A car door slams outside. Jack's eyes lift. His body tenses like instinct. Her father stands beside a sleek black car, sunglasses removed, jaw tight with contempt. He surveys the garage like it's a disease. Samantha steps out of the side door. Stops dead when she sees him. Samantha. Gnome Dart father. Get in the car. Jack, stepping forward. She's not property. Father, coldly. She's confused. Beat. You've humiliated our family enough. Samantha. I didn't run to humiliate you. I ran to survive you. Father, to Jack. You think this grease-stained mess is a future? You have no idea who she is. Jack. I know she sings when no one's listening. A beat. Father, to Samantha. That man is beneath you. Samantha steps forward, calm but fiery. Samantha. No. You just spent your whole life convincing me I was above everyone, so I'd forget I was drowning. She walks past him, back into the garage. Back home. Jack doesn't say a word. But the slam of the garage door feels a lot like freedom. A storm is building outside again. Not like before, not loud, not violent. Just slow, pressing. The kind that waits to break. Samantha hums softly as she folds laundry on the cot, humming the same tune they sang together on stage. There's light in her voice now, a softness that wasn't there before. Jack stands across the room tightening bolts on an engine he's already fixed twice. His movements are too sharp, his shoulders too tight. He watches her, then turns back to the engine. Samantha. You're quiet, Jack. Just tired. Samantha. Of the day or of me? That lands. He doesn't turn. Jack. You've got offers now. Songs. People who'll listen. That town showcase? You should have seen yourself. She approaches slowly, holding a folded shirt. One of his. Samantha, I did. And I saw you standing in the back. I didn't sing like that until you were in the room. He turns. Face unreadable. Voice flat. Jack. You need to go. Silence. She blinks, unsure if she heard him right. Samantha. What? Jack, before I mess it up. Before this place starts feeling like a cage. Before I turn into another man you have to escape from. Samantha. You're not him. Jack, quietly. We all become someone eventually. He moves past her, picks up a wrench. Jack, Conti D. Don't save me. Beat. I'm not worth your future. She stands still. The silence between them isn't comfortable anymore. It's cutting. She sets his folded shirt down gently, doesn't say a word. Walks out of the garage. Leaves the door open behind her. Silence, the kind that doesn't feel restful. The kind that echoes. Light spills across the concrete floor, but it's colder now. Hollow, like the warmth has been scraped out of the air. Jack enters slowly, coffee in hand. But he doesn't sip it. He just stands there, looking. The cot is empty. Folded sheets sit neatly on top, along with the flannel shirt she used to sleep in. The cup she always used, clean, upside down beside the sink. The guitar leans in the corner, untouched. Strings slightly loose. Dust already starting to settle on the neck. Jack walks to the center of the garage, looks around. His tools are exactly where he left them. His stool, his workbench, everything is where it's supposed to be. Except her. He kneels beside the bench and opens the drawer she used to organize, the one she lined with newspaper clippings and folded rags. Empty. He closes it slowly, then turns his gaze to the far wall. The wedding dress is still there, draped across the wooden beam, soft and still. Backlit by the morning sun, it glows faintly. The lace sways in the breeze from the cracked window. He walks over to it, stands inches away. Stares. His fingers twitch like he wants to touch it, move it, pull it down. But he doesn't. His jaw tightens. His breath catches. And without a sound, he cries, not loud, not messy, just a slow, quiet collapse. Like an old beam giving way after too much weight. He presses his forehead to the post beside the dress, and lets the silence have him. The sun has fallen. Shadows stretch across the floor like tired hands. Jack sits in an old recliner, still wearing his work clothes. A half-eaten sandwich rests on a paper towel beside him. The TV hums softly, volume barely above a whisper. He's not watching. Not really. Just staring until something catches his eye. TV. Reporter. VO. What started as a quiet showcase performance has now become the town's most shared video of the year. Jack turns his head. On screen, Samantha, guitar in lap, singing under the makeshift curtain of her wedding dress. Her voice is soft, brave, glowing. Then, the camera pans to him. In the back, singing harmony, barely audible, but present. Very present. TV reporter. VO. Conti D. Two strangers. One a runaway bride, the other a reclusive mechanic, shared a stage and a song that silenced the room. The dress still hangs. The guitar still rests in the corner. But now, the TV light flickers against the garage window, painting fleeting images of them both in motion, like ghosts returning home. TV reporter. VO. No one knows where she came from, or where she's gone. But what they left on that stage, beat, wasn't just music. Jack watches as the screen fades to black. He leans back, exhales slowly. His hand reaches for the remote, but pauses. Instead, he lets the silence settle, and for the first time in days, he smiles. Faint, but real. TV reporter. VO. Softly. Two strangers made something unforgettable. Plates clink. Coffee steams. Locals mumble over newspapers and gossip. Jack sits at the corner booth alone, sipping black coffee, barely touched. He scans the diner like he doesn't belong there anymore. Until he hears it. Radio. OS. This just in. Local real estate mogul and civic councilman Harold Carter is under investigation for financial misconduct and coercion related to his private wedding venue business. Jack's head lifts slowly. The waitress, mid-pour at another table, pauses to listen. Radio. OS. Con TD. Reports indicate the misuse of funds, as well as allegations of manipulation in high-profile community events, including the recent failed wedding of his daughter, Samantha Carter. Murmurs spread through the diner like wildfire. Man in booth. Didn't he threaten to sue the whole paper last year? Woman, yeah, well, he can't pay him off now. Jack's eyes drift toward the window. Rain threatens again. Not a storm, but something honest. Cleansing. Jack kneels beside the back tire of a rusted-out Jeep. Tightening bolts. The usual rhythm. Footsteps crunch outside. Frank leans on the garage door holding a folded newspaper. Frank, you here? Jack nods. Doesn't look up. Frank, Conti D. Whole town's buzzing. They say the wedding was supposed to lock in a land deal. Political favor. Carter's reputation goes down. He takes half the council with him. Jack doesn't respond. Just finishes tightening the bolt. Frank, quietly. She was his last pawn. Jack finally looks up, eyes clear. Steady. Jack. Not anymore. He wipes his hands. The paper flutters in Frank's grip. The headline barely visible. Councilman Carter indicted on charges of fraud. Coercion. Jack turns back to the engine. But the garage doesn't feel as heavy now. It's quiet again, but not empty. The wedding dress still hangs like a memory that refuses to fade. The repaired guitar sits by the bench, its strings recently tuned. Jack enters, wiping rain off his shoulders. He notices something unusual on the workbench. A folded piece of paper tucked beneath a pick, weighted down gently by a spark plug. His name is written in soft, careful cursive. Jack. He stares at it for a moment, then opens it. Samantha. VO, reading the letter softly. If you're reading this, it means I finally got brave enough to leave something behind that isn't pain. As she speaks. Samantha, barefoot, writing at the cot, guitar at her side. Jack sleeping in the chair by the door, unaware. Her hand sliding the note onto the bench before slipping out quietly into the morning fog. Samantha, VO, Conti D. I never planned to stay. Not at first. I told myself you were a layover, a safe place to catch my breath. But then you looked at me without pity. You didn't ask me to explain. You just handed me coffee and let me hum. Jack sits at the bench now, holding the letter in both hands, still. Silent. Samantha, V.O. Conti D. You didn't rescue me. Jack, you reminded me what being safe felt like, and for someone like me, that's everything. She pauses in the voiceover, and we feel her inhale. Samantha, V.O. Conti D. You made me believe broken men still love, not with words, but with silence, with shelter, with music. Jack's hand trembles slightly. He folds the letter again, presses it to his chest, and breathes. A long, deep breath, like releasing something he's held in for years. The wind rustles through tall grass. A storm has passed, but the ground is still soft. Leaves stick to the bottoms of Jack's worn boots as he walks a familiar path. Jack carries no flowers, just the letter, folded once, gently, held between two fingers like it still burns. He stops at a small headstone. Simple, white, cracked at one corner. Lucy McKinley, 2003, 2012. Daddy's little mechanic. Jack kneels slowly, brushes a leaf from the top of the stone. His eyes soften, but they don't spill. Not yet. He sits back on his heels, lets the silence settle between them. Jack, you'd like her. He pauses, a faint smile. Jack, Conti. She's loud without talking, kind without trying, and stubborn. Like you were with that radio kit we could never get working. He looks down, fingers tracing the carved name. Jack, Conti D. I didn't know how to grieve you, so I stayed quiet. I let the world turn and pretended I didn't miss every single second of it. His throat tightens. The letter crinkles in his grip. Jack, Conti D. And then she came in wearing a dress that looked like goodbye, and somehow she turned this place back into music. A long pause. Jack places the letter beside the stone. Not buried. Just resting, Jack. Softly. I finally let someone in. He stands, takes a breath that hurts in the right way, then walks back toward the truck, leaving behind the part of him that had nowhere else to go. The hallway is dim. The same peeling photos line the walls. The same old yellow string dangles from the key that hangs, untouched, until now. Jack reaches up and takes the key, pauses, then walks to the white-painted door at the end of the hall, the one with Lucy still, stenciled above it in fading pink. He unlocks. It isn't Lucy's room. The room hasn't changed since we last saw it, but this time Jack doesn't just stand in the doorway. He enters, walks to the bed, brushes the dust off the blanket, opens the small window. Fresh air flows in, carrying birdsong and rain-soaked soil. He opens the closet, takes out the toys gently. The stuffed elephant, the tea set, the stack of bedtime books, places them in a box, carefully, lovingly. Then, he pulls down the poster board drawing, "Me and Daddy at the shop." He lays it on the desk, wipes a tear from the corner with the back of his wrist. The room is clean now, but different. A soft rug now rests in the center. A new desk lamp glows warmly. A second chair beside the desk, and on the freshly dusted bookshelf, he places Samantha's guitar. Center shelf. Upright. Reverent. It hums even in silence. Jack, V.O. Grief never leaves. It just waits for space. He takes a breath, exits the room. Doesn't lock the door. For the first time in years, he leaves it open. It's still the same building, rusted beams, concrete floors, familiar creaks. But something is different now. Alive. The walls, once bare and cold, now bloom with handwritten lyrics, chord sheets, and painted signs from local kids. McKinley's music room. Let it play. A row of mismatched chairs circles a center rug, where a mic stand waits patiently. Old toolboxes have become benches. A toolbox lid now holds a chalkboard schedule. 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, sit in the corner, tuning a battered ukulele, whispering giggles between them. Jack leans against the doorframe, coffee in hand, watching. He doesn't interrupt. He just lets it breathe. A young girl, maybe 9, nervous but focused, sits on the same crate Samantha once used, a notebook in her lap. She hums quietly, matching tones to her scribbles. She's trying to find her own rhythm. Jack walks over, sets down a capo beside her. Jack, try the 3rd fret, makes the chords warmer. She smiles shyly, nods, adjusts, strums, better, softer. She plays. The sound is raw, off-key, perfect. More kids trickle in. Some bring instruments, some bring only stories. Jack opens a cabinet, the one that used to hold dust and grief, now stocked with string sets, notebooks, pencils, and tuners. He watches the room fill with music, laughter, voices that don't ask permission to be heard. And for the first time, he doesn't feel like a mechanic. He feels like a bridge. On the far wall, still draped like soft armor, the wedding dress curtain remains. It sways gently as the music swells. A young girl plays her song. Mist curls low over the gravel lot. The sun hasn't fully risen, but the sky glows faint gold, a promise instead of a command. The garage is still. No kids yet, no chords ringing, just the soft creak of the bay door shifting in the wind. Jack arrives with his usual thermos in hand, boots crunching on the dirt. He walks toward the garage. Stops. Something's taped to the outside of the door. A note, carefully folded, anchored by a guitar pick taped at the corner. The handwriting is unmistakable, delicate, intentional. His breath stills. He takes the note gently, reads, "You were the first place I wasn't asked to explain myself. I didn't forget you. I just needed to see if I could still walk away without disappearing." The answer is yes, but I'd rather walk back. Jack closes his eyes for a beat, continues. Reading. If the music's still playing, if the door's still open, I'm not far, no signature, just that guitar pick. Old, worn, cracked down the side. Jack walks in, looks around. Nothing's changed, but everything feels lighter. He walks to the pegboard and adds the note next to the others. Beneath the chalkboard schedule, above the flannel shirt still draped on a hook, he places the guitar pick inside the toolbox. Not hidden, just waiting. The wedding dress curtain flutters softly in the background. Jack walks to the open bay and stands in the sunlight. Jack, softly, to no one yet. Still playing. The platform is mostly empty. A few passengers mill about. A mother rocks a crying baby. A man reads yesterday's paper. The sound of cicadas bleeds into the wind. The distant whistle of an approaching train cuts through the stillness. Jack stands at the edge of the platform, hands in his pockets, denim jacket catching the breeze. He hasn't said why he came. He just knew he had to. His boot taps nervously against the concrete as the train screeches in, slowing to a sighing stop. Doors open, passengers step off, one by one, some alone, some met with hugs. Then, she steps off. Samantha, hair down, guitar case slung over her shoulder, a duffel bag in one hand. Her eyes scan the crowd, unsure, until she sees him. Jack doesn't move, but his face shifts. Not a smile, not quite. Just relief that lands in his shoulders like gravity lifting. She walks slowly toward him. He speaks first. Jack, took your time. Samantha, smiling, had to make sure the music was still playing. Jack never stopped. She stands in front of him now, close enough to touch, but neither rushes. Samantha. You really hung the dress like a curtain? Jack kids call it. The stage ghost. Keeps nerves away. She laughs softly, takes a deeper breath than she's taken in weeks. Samantha. Gently. Still fixing people, Jack? He looks at her for a long moment. Jack, some things aren't broken. They're just waiting. They stand together as the train pulls away behind them. Not running anymore, just arriving. The garage is dark, save for the soft golden glow of a single hanging bulb. The world outside has fallen asleep, but inside, the hum of life lingers like a whisper. Jack sits on the center stool, guitar resting across his knees. Fingers move slowly across the strings, not playing anything real, just letting sound breathe. Samantha sits across from him on an overturned milk crate, knees tucked beneath her flannel. Barefoot. No audience. No pressure. A plate of leftover pie sits untouched on the workbench beside them. The curtain of her wedding dress sways gently in the breeze from the cracked window. She hums. Just softly at first, enough for him to find the key. Jack shifts, strums something simple. A melody forms, not perfect, not practiced, just theirs. They sing quietly, a song that never made it to paper, one stitched together from shared silence and almost goodbyes. No one's filming, no one's clapping, and somehow, it feels better that way. When the song ends, Samantha leans back, eyes closed. Samantha. That one wasn't for the crowd. Jack. No crowd needed. She opens her eyes. Samantha. You know what saved me? Jack raises an eyebrow. Samantha. Conti D. It wasn't the stage, or the spotlight, or even the music. She looks around the room. The curtain, the guitar, the wall still smudged with engine grease. Then meets his eyes. Samantha, softly, it's our quiet that saved me. Jack doesn't reply, but he leans his guitar against the wall beside hers and just sits there, in the quiet, with her. The sky spills orange and pink over the horizon. From the top of the garage roof, where Jack patched shingles earlier in the week, the world feels small, almost gentle. Samantha and Jack sit side by side, legs dangling over the edge. Below them, the town murmurs softly. Wind through trees, a distant dog bark, the occasional passing car. She sips from a thermos he handed her earlier. Samantha, you ever think about doing it again? Jack doesn't look at her right away. Jack marriage? Samantha, Jack thought about it once. Then the world ended. Beat. And I got used to being the roof instead of the house. She smiles softly at that, Samantha. I used to want it so badly. The ring, the aisle, the photos, until I realized I wanted the proof more than the person. Jack turns to face her now. Jack. And now? She shrugs. Samantha. Now I want peace. Laughter. A hand I don't have to beg to hold. He watches her for a long moment, then reaches into his coat pocket, pulls out a small object, a guitar pick. It's cracked, familiar. The same one from her letter. He places it in her hand. Jack, softly, I don't have a ring, but I've got this. She looks at him, heart in her throat. Jack, Conti D. Let's raise a place. Not a wedding. She nods. No ceremony. No applause, just a rooftop, a sunset, and something that finally feels like the beginning. The sun has dipped below the hills, but the garage is glowing, warm, golden, steady. The overhead lights, once flickering and cold, now shine soft across the concrete. A string of fairy lights wraps the rafters. The scent of warm tea, sawdust, and guitar wood fills the air. The white wedding dress, still pinned like a curtain behind the stage, flutters gently in the breeze. Not forgotten, but transformed. Jack moves slowly through the space, straightening chairs, tuning a guitar. A quiet ritual. Samantha scribbles song titles on the chalkboard schedule, humming under her breath, barefoot as always. They don't speak much. They don't need to. Outside, the gravel crunches. Then, the door swings open. A wave of kids enters. Teens, younger ones, even a few college students home for the weekend. Some with guitars, others with notebooks. One carries a worn violin case like it's a treasure. They know where to go, no instructions needed. Some settle onto crates, some climb onto the platform. One boy drapes his hoodie over the mic stand before performing, nerves wrapped in style. Jack leans on the workbench, arms folded. Samantha catches his eye, nods once. He nods back. The first strum echoes through the room. Not perfect, but full of heart. And it keeps going. Week after week. The music never stops. Even when Jack steps out, even when Samantha's away. Because something new has rooted here. Not a business, not a stage, not even a story, a place. And the lights? They stay on every Friday night. Because someone always comes home to play. The same room she once slept in. The cot, the folded shirts, the battered mirror, now glows with soft, natural light. Samantha stands in front of that mirror, brush in one hand, a bundle of white fabric in the other, the wedding dress. But it's not the same. She's taken it apart, restitched the hem, shortened it, removed the lace train, added patches of denim, music notes embroidered into the edge. It's not a costume anymore. It's a statement. She slips it on over a pair of black leggings and a faded band tee, twirls slightly in front of the mirror. It sways differently now, like it finally fits her body and her life. Jack leans over the workbench, reading through a lyric book one of the younger girls left behind. The smell of paint and warm string lights fills the air. Samantha walks in. He turns and sees her. His eyebrows lift, but not in surprise, in something closer to awe. Jack, that dress looks new. Samantha, it is. He smiles gently, stepping closer. Jack, never thought I'd see you wear it again. She runs her fingers along the new stitching, the music notes, the scars. Samantha, the first time I wore it, I was vanishing. Beat, Samantha. Conte D. This time, I chose it. She steps onto the small stage, barefoot and whole. The dress flows behind her, part of her, not hiding her. She strums a chord on her guitar, and the sound? Familiar, but stronger. A clear sky spills stars across the dark canvas above. The garage doors are open wide. Inside, strings of warm amber lights sway in the breeze. Outside, the gravel lot is filled, not with cars, but with people, young and old, neighbors, strangers, locals who once whispered, kids who now sing, even the baker from town, the tow truck guy, the shy girl with the notebook. A handmade banner drapes above the entrance. Final Friday jam, one last song. Samantha steps up first. Her patched dress hugs her like armor, a flower tucked behind her ear. She holds her guitar close, breath trembling. Then, Jack walks up beside her. Not behind. Not in front, beside. He carries the old guitar. The one she fixed? Samantha glances at him. He nods. She strums the opening chord, and he joins. A hush falls over the crowd. The song is theirs, half lullaby, half ache. A melody stitched from sorrow and healing, rain and rust, silence and sound. Halfway through, Samantha's voice falters. But Jack keeps going. His voice, once buried beneath grief, rises, not loud, but sure. She looks at him, then back to the crowd. They finish the final verse together. No applause. Just a heartbeat of silence. Then, the crowd erupts, clapping, cheering, crying. Samantha smiles through tears. Jack wipes his quietly. The crowd slowly fades. Conversations drift. Someone starts playing again, but inside the garage, the lights stay on. Even as Jack and Samantha sit quietly on the edge of the stage, guitars resting on their laps, not speaking, just breathing, just listening. The duet lingers. The light glows.